Chapter 1. 5 Simple Habits That Changed My Life. Have you ever felt like you were stuck in the same routine, repeating the same patterns over and over again without making progress? That was me a year ago. I was feeling lost, unmotivated, and overwhelmed by life. But then, I made 5 small but powerful changes that completely transformed my life. These habits didn't just make me more productive, they reshaped my mindset, my energy, and my happiness. And today, I'm sharing them with you. Habit number 1, waking up early. It all started with a simple shift, waking up early. Now, I'm not saying you need to wake up at 4 a.m., but giving yourself an extra hour in the morning can do wonders. That time is just for you. No distractions, no chaos, just a peaceful moment to start your day with intention. I used this time to meditate, journal, and set my daily goals. And trust me, the way you start your morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. Habit number 2, daily movement. The second habit was moving my body every single day. I used to think that exercise was all about getting fit, but I realized it's really about feeling good. Whether it's a 20-minute walk, yoga, or hitting the gym, movement clears your mind and releases stress. It's not about punishing your body. It's about celebrating what it can do. And when I committed to daily movement, my energy levels skyrocketed. Habit number 3, digital detox. This one was a game changer. I realized I was constantly distracted by my phone, scrolling endlessly, checking notifications, feeling overwhelmed by social media. So, I set strict boundaries. No phone in the morning, no social media before bed, and designated tech-free hours during the day. The result? More focus, better sleep, and a newfound appreciation for real-life moments. Habit number 4, reading and learning every day. Instead of mindlessly scrolling, I replaced that time with reading. Even just 10 pages a day added up. I started feeding my mind with knowledge, learning from people who had already achieved what I wanted. Books and podcasts became my daily fuel for growth. And the more I learned, the more I realized how much was possible. Habit number 5, practicing gratitude. Finally, the most powerful habit, gratitude. Every morning, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for, and it shifted my entire perspective. Instead of focusing on what I didn't have, I started appreciating what was already in my life. Gratitude rewires your brain, and once you start looking for the good, you'll find it everywhere. These 5 habits may seem simple, but they hold incredible power. And the best part? You don't have to change everything overnight. Start with one habit, build momentum, and watch your life transform. The person you'll be a year from now depends on the habits you build today. Chapter 2. How has my morning changed? Have you ever felt like your mornings were a mess? You wake up late, rush to get ready, and before you know it, your day is already stressful. That used to be me. But then, I changed one simple thing, my morning routine, and it changed my life. A year ago, I was stuck in a cycle of bad habits. I would hit the snooze button multiple times, check my phone first thing in the morning, and rush out the door without a real plan for the day. I constantly felt overwhelmed, unproductive, and drained. But I knew something had to change. That's when I decided to design a morning routine that set me up for success instead of failure. Step 1, waking up early but the right way. I used to think waking up early meant sacrificing sleep. But the truth is, waking up early is only beneficial if you're getting enough rest. So instead of forcing myself to wake up at 5 a.m. while still sleeping late, I focused on fixing my sleep schedule. I committed to a consistent bedtime and aimed for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That way, waking up early felt natural and refreshing, not exhausting. Now, I wake up at 6 a.m., giving myself enough time to start my day without rushing. This one change alone has made a massive difference in my energy levels and mindset. Step 2, avoiding my phone in the morning. For years, the first thing I did when I woke up was check my phone. Social media, emails, news, it all flooded my brain before I even got out of bed. This habit made my mornings chaotic and reactive. So I made a strict rule. No phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. Instead of scrolling, I now take a few deep breaths, stretch, and enjoy a quiet moment before diving into the day. This small change has helped me feel more present, focused, and intentional with my mornings. Step 3. Hydrating and moving my body. Did you know that after sleeping for hours, your body is naturally dehydrated? Yet, most of us reach for coffee first thing in the morning. I used to do that too. Now, the first thing I drink is a big glass of water. It wakes me up, helps my digestion, and makes me feel more energized. Along with hydration, I make sure to move my body. I don't do an intense workout in the morning, but I do something to wake up my muscles, whether it's stretching, yoga, or a quick 5-minute walk outside. Moving even a little bit helps me shake off morning grogginess and start the day feeling refreshed. Step 4. Mindfulness and gratitude. Before, I used to jump straight into my to-do list, thinking productivity was the key to success. But I realized that my mindset was just as important. So I started incorporating mindfulness into my mornings. Every morning, I take 5 minutes to practice gratitude. I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. It could be something big, like my health, or something small, like the way the sunlight streams into my room. This practice shifts my mindset from stress to appreciation and sets a positive tone for the rest of the day. Sometimes I also do a short meditation. Even just 5 minutes of deep breathing helps me clear my mind and feel more centered before I dive into work. Step 5. Planning my day with intention. Mornings are the perfect time to set intentions. Instead of letting the day control me, I make sure I'm in control of my day. I write down my top 3 priorities, the things I absolutely need to get done. This keeps me focused and prevents me from feeling overwhelmed. Having a clear plan gives my day purpose and direction. It helps me avoid distractions and makes me more productive without feeling burnt out. It's been a year since I made these changes, and I can honestly say my life is completely different. I feel more in control of my time, less anxious, and more productive. My days no longer start in a rush, but with a sense of calm and purpose. If you feel like your mornings are chaotic, I encourage you to start small. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just pick one habit. Whether it's drinking water first thing, staying off your phone, or writing down your priorities, and see how it impacts your day. A great morning leads to a great day, and a great day leads to a great life. So why not start now? Chapter 3. How do I stay motivated every day? Have you ever woken up feeling uninspired, unmotivated, and stuck in the same cycle, wondering how to break free? Trust me, I've been there. A year ago, I struggled with consistency, lacked direction, and often found myself procrastinating instead of taking action. But everything changed when I adopted a few simple habits that helped me stay motivated every single day. Section 1. Understanding motivation. Before we dive into how to stay motivated, let's talk about motivation itself. A lot of people believe motivation is something external, something we have to wait for. But the truth is, motivation is created from within. It's a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. And just like working out, staying motivated requires daily effort and the right mindset. Section 2. Setting clear goals. One of the biggest game changers for me was setting clear, achievable goals. I used to set vague goals like be more productive or get healthier, but these weren't specific enough to keep me motivated. So instead, I started breaking my goals down into small, actionable steps. For example, instead of saying get healthier, I made it a goal to exercise for 30 minutes every morning. Instead of be more productive, I made it a goal to work distraction-free for 90 minutes before taking a break. Having clear goals gave me direction and made it easier to track my progress. Section 3. Using the power of habits. Motivation is great, but it's not always reliable. Some days, you'll wake up feeling unmotivated no matter how badly you want to achieve something. That's why I built habits that support my goals. For instance, I created a morning routine that primes me for success, waking up early, hydrating, stretching, and writing down my priorities for the day. When motivation fades, habits take over and keep you going. The key is consistency. The more you repeat a habit, the less effort it takes, and eventually, it becomes second nature. Section 4. Keeping a journal. Another thing that helped me stay motivated was keeping a journal. Every morning, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things I want to achieve that day. This simple practice shifts my mindset from focusing on what I lack to appreciating what I have. It also keeps me accountable and gives me a sense of purpose. Looking back at my journal entries reminds me of how far I've come, and that itself fuels my motivation to keep going. Section 5. Surrounding myself with the right influences. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I've found this to be absolutely true. A year ago, I was consuming a lot of negative content, spending time with people who complained a lot, and wondering why I felt drained. So, I made a conscious effort to surround myself with positive influences, reading books that inspired me, watching videos that taught me something new, and connecting with people who shared my mindset for growth. Your environment shapes your motivation more than you realize, so be intentional about what and who you expose yourself to. Section 6. Rewarding progress. One of the most effective ways to stay motivated is to reward yourself. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something as simple as treating yourself to a good meal after finishing a challenging task, or taking a short break after completing a goal. Celebrating small wins makes the journey more enjoyable and gives you something to look forward to. Progress is progress, no matter how small. Section 7. Remembering your why. Whenever I feel like giving up, I take a step back and remind myself why I started in the first place. I ask myself, why is this important to me? What will happen if I quit now? Having a strong why is crucial because it gives you purpose. It reminds you that what you're doing matters, and it keeps you moving forward even on tough days. Motivation isn't something you find, it's something you create. By setting clear goals, building strong habits, surrounding yourself with the right influences, and celebrating progress, you can stay motivated every single day. Remember, small steps every day lead to big results over time. Chapter 4. How to read books to develop yourself fastest. Have you ever felt like you're reading books but not actually learning anything? Like you're flipping through pages but not retaining or applying what you read? Trust me, I've been there. But one simple change in my reading habits has completely transformed the way I consume and apply knowledge. Today, I'm going to share how I read books to improve myself faster and how you can do the same. Section 1. Why most people read ineffectively. Most people read passively. They pick up a book, read through the chapters, and then move on to the next one without taking the time to absorb and apply what they've learned. The problem isn't that reading doesn't work, it's that we don't read with intention. If you want to truly grow from books, you have to read actively. Section 2. Choosing the right books. The first step to effective reading is picking the right books. Instead of grabbing any bestseller or whatever book is trending, I ask myself, what skill do I want to improve? What problem am I trying to solve? Reading with a purpose helps me stay engaged and ensures that I'm reading books that actually contribute to my growth. Section 3. Active reading techniques. Once I have the right book, I don't just read it, I interact with it. Here's how. 1. Take notes. I highlight key ideas and jot down personal thoughts as I read. This helps me remember the material better. 2. Summarize key takeaways. After finishing a chapter, I summarize the main ideas in my own words. This forces me to process the information instead of just skimming over it. 3. Teach what I learn. If I can explain a concept to someone else, it means I truly understand it. This is one of the most powerful ways to retain knowledge. Section 4. Applying what you read. Reading alone won't change your life. Applying what you read will. That's why I set action points for myself after finishing a book. If I read about productivity, I immediately try one new method in my daily routine. If I read about mindset shifts, I start practicing them the same week. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. Section 5. The importance of repetition. One mistake I used to make was reading a book once and thinking I had mastered it. But real change happens through repetition. That's why I revisit my favorite books, reread my notes, and constantly refresh my knowledge. The more I reinforce an idea, the more naturally it becomes a part of my life. Section 6. The 3-book rule. I follow a simple rule. For every one new book I read, I revisit 2 old ones. Why? Because mastery comes from depth, not just breadth. It's better to deeply understand a few great books than to read dozens without absorbing their wisdom. So if you want to read books and actually improve yourself, start reading with intention. Take notes, summarize, teach, apply, and revisit. These small changes have made a massive difference in my life, and I know they can do the same for you. Now tell me, what book are you reading right now, and how do you plan to apply its lessons? Chapter 5. How 30 Days Without Social Media Changed Me. Have you ever thought about quitting social media for a month? No endless scrolling, no checking notifications every few minutes, no distractions. Just you, your thoughts, and the real world. That's exactly what I did. And let me tell you, these 30 days completely changed my life. At first, I didn't realize how addicted I was. Social media had become an automatic habit. Wake up, check my phone. Eat, check my phone. Before bed, scroll endlessly. But as soon as I cut it off, I felt lost. I reached for my phone out of habit, only to realize there was nothing to check. It was uncomfortable, like losing a part of my daily routine. But soon, that discomfort turned into clarity. The first thing I noticed was the mental space I regained. Without the constant flood of information, my brain finally had time to breathe. I wasn't consuming content every second of the day, so my thoughts became clearer and my focus improved dramatically. I had more energy to think about my goals, my habits, and what truly mattered to me. Another thing that changed? My productivity skyrocketed. Before quitting social media, I would sit down to work but get distracted within minutes. A quick scroll would turn into 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, of wasted time. But without social media, I was fully present. I started reading more books, writing in my journal, and actually enjoying my time without distractions. I even picked up new hobbies I had been neglecting for years. The biggest realization, though, was how much my mood improved. Social media is filled with highlights of other people's lives. It's easy to compare yourself and feel like you're not doing enough, not successful enough, not happy enough. But when I removed that constant comparison, I started feeling more grateful for what I already had. My self-esteem improved. My stress levels dropped. I felt more in control of my own happiness. One of the most unexpected benefits was how my relationships changed. Without the distraction of my phone, I started having deeper conversations with friends and family. I was fully present, listening more, engaging more. Instead of scrolling while eating, I enjoyed my meals. Instead of messaging people online, I called them. Instead of documenting every moment, I actually lived it. But of course, there were challenges. At times, I felt disconnected from the world. Social media had been my source of news, entertainment, and even connection with people. There were moments I felt like I was missing out. But over time, I realized something powerful. The real connections, the real news, the real entertainment. It was all happening offline. So, after 30 days, did I go back? The answer is, kind of. I reintroduced social media into my life, but with strict boundaries. I set time limits, unfollowed accounts that didn't add value, and prioritized real-life experiences over virtual ones. And honestly, I feel more in control now than ever before. If you've ever thought about taking a break from social media, I highly recommend it. Even if it's just for a week. You might be surprised at what you learn about yourself. Social media isn't bad, but being intentional about how we use it can make a world of difference. So, are you up for the challenge? Chapter 6. How I Practice Self-Discipline for Success. Self-discipline. It's the one thing that separates those who dream from those who achieve. 1 year ago, I was stuck in a cycle of procrastination, inconsistency, and frustration. But then, I made a decision to take control of my life, and that changed everything. Today, I want to share exactly how I built self-discipline, step by step, and how you can too. Let's start with the hard truth. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But discipline? Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when motivation fades. I had to rewire my thinking, stop relying on inspiration, and start depending on my systems. So, I created 5 powerful habits that transformed my life. Habit number 1, the 2-minute rule. There were so many tasks I kept avoiding. Exercising, reading, working on my personal projects. The hardest part was always getting started. So, I implemented the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes to start, just do it. Instead of telling myself I needed to work out for an hour, I committed to just putting on my shoes and stretching for 2 minutes. Instead of planning to read an entire book, I told myself to read 1 page. And do you know what happened? Once I started, I kept going. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Habit number 2, the 5-second rule. I realized that hesitation was my biggest enemy. Every time I thought about waking up early, making a tough decision, or pushing through discomfort, I gave myself time to overthink. So, I started using Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. The moment I had an instinct to act, I counted down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and moved. No more negotiations with myself. This simple habit helped me beat procrastination and build immediate action into my daily routine. Habit number 3, creating non-negotiables. One of my biggest mistakes was treating my self-improvement goals as optional. I'd say things like, I'll try to wake up early, or I'll see if I have time to journal. That mindset kept me stuck. So, I changed my language. Instead of I'll try, I said, I will. I made certain habits non-negotiable, like brushing my teeth or eating meals. No matter how I felt, I committed to them. That shift in mindset made all the difference. Habit number 4, the power of tracking progress. We can't improve what we don't measure. I started keeping a daily habit tracker, marking an X every time I completed a habit. Seeing the streak grow made me want to keep going. Missing one day was fine, but I never allowed myself to miss 2. The visual proof of my progress kept me accountable and motivated. Habit number 5, learning to embrace discomfort. Success is on the other side of discomfort. The truth is, if we always choose what's easy, we'll stay exactly where we are. I started leaning into discomfort, whether it was pushing through an intense workout, waking up at 5 a.m., or having difficult conversations. I reminded myself, discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. Over time, these 5 habits rewired my brain. I stopped relying on motivation and built a system that ensured progress, even on my hardest days. The best part? Once discipline became a habit, my life started changing effortlessly. So, if you're struggling to stay consistent, remember this. Self-discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Start small, commit to action, and trust the process. 1 year from now, you'll thank yourself for the decision you made today. Chapter 7. Summary of 1 life-changing year and next steps. A year ago, I was stuck. I felt like I was just going through the motions, waking up every day with no real sense of direction. But something changed. I made a decision. I told myself, if I want a different life, I need to start living differently. And so, I did. In just 1 year, 5 simple habits transformed my life in ways I never thought possible. Today, I want to share them with you. 1. Reflecting and journaling every day. Every night before bed, I sit down with my journal. I write about my day, what went well, what didn't, and what I learned. This simple habit helped me understand my emotions, track my progress, and stay focused on my goals. Journaling is like having a conversation with yourself. It clears the mind and brings clarity. If you've never tried it, start with just 5 minutes a day. You might be surprised at how much it changes your perspective. 2. Waking up early and owning my mornings. Mornings used to be chaotic for me. I would wake up just in time to rush through my day, feeling stressed before I even started. But when I started waking up earlier, everything changed. The quiet hours of the morning became my time. Time to read, to meditate, to set my intentions for the day. It gave me control over my schedule instead of letting the day control me. Even waking up just 30 minutes earlier can give you space to breathe and focus before the world starts pulling you in different directions. 3. Moving my body every day. I used to think working out was just about looking good, but I've realized that movement is about feeling good. Whether it's a 10-minute stretch, a walk outside, or a full workout session, moving my body daily has given me more energy, improved my mood, and helped me stay mentally sharp. You don't have to lift heavy weights or run marathons. Just move. Your body will thank you. 4. Reading for growth. Books became my mentors. Instead of scrolling endlessly on my phone, I replaced that time with reading. Just 10 pages a day. That's how I started. In a year, I read books that completely changed the way I think, from personal development to psychology to finance. The more I learned, the more I realized how much I didn't know. If you're not a reader, start small. Pick a book that genuinely interests you and read a little every day. Knowledge compounds over time. 5. Letting go of negativity. This was the hardest but most powerful change I made. I stopped surrounding myself with negativity, negative thoughts, negative habits, and even negative people. I realized that my environment shapes me, so I became intentional about the energy I allowed into my life. I chose to focus on gratitude, to be around people who uplift me, and to let go of things that drain me. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. These 5 habits weren't drastic, but their impact was. They made me more mindful, more disciplined, and more at peace with myself. And the best part? You can start them today. You don't have to change everything overnight. Just start with one habit and let it grow. Because small changes done consistently create big results. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to reflect. What's one small habit you can start today that will bring you closer to the life you want? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs it. Let's grow together, one simple habit at a time.